Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Rebuild It. This week we continue on with the 2016 Jeep Renegade rebuild. We're tearing her down, so let's get started and see how far we can get. Okay, Jeepsters, today I need to work on getting this apart so I can get some of these damaged panels to Mike because he's going to need to do some color matching. So I need to get this fender off right here and this grill, and that's really all I need to get off, but I don't know what's involved and how all that's connected. I don't know if we can get the grill off without getting the bumper and all the rest of it off or not. So I know we can get the fender off. That's the exposed bolts there. And I don't think these come off like most cars where you have bolts in here, because I don't see on this side any bolt, any ways to get to a bolt. So we must have to take the fender liner off to be able to get that fender off. So first thing we need to do is jack it up, get that tire off, get the fender liner off, and see if we can see some bolts in there. Then we'll get these off and use some little clip tool to get those out. And there's probably some more bolts back behind that trim piece. And I've been having it on the charger for several days, so it should have a really good strong charge on the battery. All right, so we've got the fender liner out. Here's what it looks like up underneath here. Smashed stuff up there, so I just need to pop all these connectors off here, these lights. Quite a few for, I guess, fog lights, and I don't know what that bulb is, or what that light is. And so in here is what we were wondering about, how you get the fender off. So got this piece of insulation here we should be able to just pull out. Okay, so there's that. And let's see. Okay, so we've got two bolts down here. It looks like one up here going in this direction, which is rare. Usually they're like this. So somehow we have to get that off without tearing up this door by opening it too wide. Maybe we can reach it from the inside. Just get those off, and then make sure that comes loose, and we can start getting all these little ones off. Okay, so I've got those bottom bolts off, and I kind of pulled this fender this way enough to where I could get this door open all the way so I can get to this inner bolt, which is good now. So there's the one I was talking about. Now I can reach it. And I went ahead and took off this little plastic piece here, which goes right here so that you can get to the bolt that was right here. And then there's a very weird thing, which I've never seen before on a car. Usually there's a bracket right here that you just put a bolt through this little thing here and this bracket stays. Well, this bracket stays with the fender, and so somewhere under all this goop is a bolt. So feels like it might be right in there, so I'm gonna have to try to scrape some of that stuff out of the way where I can get a wrench on there and get that off. That's a weird design. I've never seen that before in any other car. So when we put our new fender on, we're gonna have to put that back over there because that must be a leak spot. You can see where this welded right here, so it changes. You know, there's probably a hole right here in the steel, so that all needs to be sealed. So I'll get that out and show you what it looks like underneath there. Okay, so here is where the bolt is on these, if you're ever trying to get one of these off. And so I finally uncovered it, and you got to take a razor knife and just poke around till you find it, and then you got to actually cut around all 5 sides of that. Let's see, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 5, 6 sides of that nut, and get it to where you can get a socket on there. So hopefully this will come out. Now I'll have to take my razor knife and cut along this to get that free. And that's some thick stuff, so it's not super easy. You just kind of cut along the edge of it and it'll pop off of there, but I'll have to clean all this stuff off before I put the new one on there. So now we'll jump up, get this one off that's back under here with the door open, and then we'll see what's involved in these in here. Oh, I'm gonna get these real quick. I think those are 7mm, looks like. Okay, so fender came off. Definitely put on different than most fenders, but the only damage I see under here is this bracket needs to be bent back a little bit, which won't be any problem, and the horn bracket is bent, which will be easy to bend back. The horn I don't think is damaged, so I think that's it. So let's get all these wires disconnected from all the lights. I'll get some pictures so I know what goes with what, and then we'll see if we can start removing the grill. And I don't know if I showed you this before or not, but look at how bent in this rebar, front rebar is. So I'm hoping we don't have any kind of frame damage. Like this over here looks super straight, which I'm replacing this rebar anyway, this is welded onto that. But hopefully it didn't twist this piece over on the other side. This side is straight for sure, but looks like it was hit a little bit closer over there. So the closer it is to either one side, usually the closer it is to that side, it usually tends to bend the stuff in a more direct angle. So hopefully it's not when we get over there and get that uncovered. So let's just start trying to get all this out. I think we'll have to jump over on their side, get at least these 2 bolts off the front of the fender liner so that it's not holding onto this, and then we can get some stuff free, I think. All right, so now on this side, we shouldn't have to take the wheel off. We just got to get these 2 little screws out right there, and one I think underneath, which I should be able to reach. Just turn the wheel in a little bit, and then we have to pop this trim loose and get those screws. I think the top one's off under here, and this thing should just snap into a little piece back there. So hopefully once I get that off, and I don't know how, looks like this is bolted into this piece back here, so that means this grill has to come off at the same time. This all comes off as a unit, it looks like. So we'll have to take these little clips out here, and these big old Torx, I don't even know what that is, that's huge, off, and that'll be the most difficult piece right there. And then once we get that, it should just pull out, I hope. Okay, so that comes off really easy. It's just these 4 big Torx bolts right here. They're at T55, but there's also several small ones up underneath that I didn't know about. So I'm gonna get up underneath there and I'll figure out what size they are, and I think there's 4 or 5 screws in there, and it should just come off. I've already unhooked all the wires, so it should be easy. All right, so that takes a T30 Torx bit underneath those bolts, and mine is destroyed from the last project. It's twisted, and I don't know what I did to it, but my wife is in town getting another one, so while she's doing that, I'm gonna work on getting all this stuff underneath the hood off, pads and the wiper fluid hose and all that, because I'm gonna send the hood to Mike because there's that little bit of damage right here. He's gonna pull that back out, and he'll have to paint this section here, and then he'll blend in this side to where this fender over here is still good. thing I want to do while I'm waiting is to go ahead and get these airbags out of the way so it's easier to drive this thing around. I guess, yeah, it's called a knee airbag. So there's 4 bolts on that, and then we'll have to unplug it somewhere up in there. And then when we do the steering wheel, this is the one that you always worry about. When they go off, they can melt the wires, and then you have to take the whole steering wheel off and buy a new clock spring and all that. So hopefully, cross your fingers that when we get this off, the wires are not melted. I've only had that happen once, and I think it was on the Challenger. But let's see what's under here. All right, so that came out. No damage to the plug. It's very hard to reach, so I didn't even film the part where I was getting the plug out because it's way up under there. It's hard to get to, but it's out. So now let's work on the steering wheel. And remember, I have the battery unhooked, so there's no problem with anything. But a lot of times it takes a while to mess with these and get it to release, so you just have to hit it in exactly the right spot. So I'll mess with that, see how long it takes. Okay, that's probably the hardest steering wheel airbag I've ever had to get out. I guess the reason why it's so hard is because the hole that they give you to put your screwdriver up through is way down here, and you have to kind of go up, fish it up through the groove here, and somehow push in enough to, and there's not a lot of movement, enough to release this clip right here, this in there. It's got to push in, and then, I mean, it's not easy to move. The only way I was able to get it was I knew that that's how you had to get it out because I watched another YouTube video. And so since my airbag is shot anyway, I just went in through here and was able to go through like this and push it in this way and release it on both sides. So it'd be very hard on one that you are just trying to take out and then put back in, but I guess it could be done. You probably need a better screwdriver than I had, like a wider tip or something where you could twist it maybe and get that tab to go in. But the good news is, looks like our wires are good, which is a big time and expense saver. So we should be able to just pop these loose. Okay, there's one, and they should just pop out. Yep, there's one, and there's the second. All right, so that is out. Oh, we got another one here. All right, this is or the horn. That's probably what the horn is. Now we should be free. Okay, now it's gonna be a lot easier to drive this thing around. At least, around the parking lot while we're working on it. Okay, now I think we should be getting our Torx bits in here in just a second. All right, so I got my bit here, and I got the bottom bolts out. So this should just lift out. Yep, so looks like all the gave just on these, I hope. It looks like it. Looks like everything's straight back behind there. The only way to know for sure is to take those bolts out right there on both sides, take that bar off and put our new one on and make sure all the holes line up. I guess that's a good thing about having aluminum. It's soft enough to give without tearing up these steel sides here. It looks like our coolers are okay. This one is kind of pushed in a little bit, but it's just a real soft push. There's no kink or anything. Nothing, doesn't look like anything's leaked. Say we're okay. Got plastic piece damaged over there. We got to replace. All looks good over there. Headlight. We got to replace that for sure, because we'll get it out of there. But the main thing right now is we got to get that grill off so we can get that to Mike so we can match that color. So we'll get that off the bumper, and then we should have everything ready for him. All right, so we've got the hood off. Everything is off that needs to go to Mike. So that's good. I really wanted to get that done tonight so I could take it to him in the morning. Now I'll go ahead and just pop that headlight off and maybe go ahead and take that front crash bar off, and then we'll be to the point already of, on the outside of this thing anyway, having everything removed that's broken, and then we'll just be ready to start on the interior. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode of Rebuild It. If you did, please give us a thumbs up down below. Make sure you're a subscriber. Next week we should be, I know we will be doing the finale episode of the Challenger. Finally, after months and months and months. Andy and I did spend a lot of time this week shooting the episode, and I think you guys are going to really like it, so make sure you tune in next week. We'll see you then.
And always remember, don't retire it if you can rebuild it. Thanks so much, guys, for tuning in and watching this week's episode of Rebuild It. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any awesome content. Have a good one.